You all right over there? I knew it would work.
I wish we had a B camera.
Yeah.
That's facing towards the audience.
Just. What kind of cereal did you eat after dinner?
Apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Apple cinnamon
Cheerios.
I love apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Yeah, you think that's the best Cheerio?
Yeah.
Yeah, apple cinnamon.
It's a good Cheerio. It is a good Cheerio.
Everybody's not fighting with me on this one.
Yeah.
I do enjoy an apple cinnamon Cheerio.
Apple cinnamon. I don't know. I think I got to go with the OG. Not the OG. I'm sorry. The step
Honey
above
Nut.
the Honey Nut.
Of course.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
I think Honey Nut is a perfect cereal.
Absolutely.
It's like Coca-Cola.
It's one of those things that, like, when you're looking at tier list, you're like, of course, Captain Crunch goes on there, Fruity Pebbles,
Sure,
whatever.
sure.
And then you see. It's like, I can't.
It's too early.
Somebody
for
was
that.
telling me, they're like, dude, it's like coming out of you now. Like, sometimes I'll talk and I'll do this shit, and I'm like, oh no, oh no. That's what happened when I
Catch the spirit.
I was trying too hard to work on my Christopher Walken impression.
yeah.
And my mom was like, why are you talking like that? I was like what? And she's like, you're doing the guy. She never knows his name.
Yeah.
She's like, you're doing the guy. You're doing the thing. And I'm like, what guy? And it's just, they're all morphing together. I feel like
Where's Marco?
who's the guy in Clayface?
Oh,
Clayface is in Batman.
Just keep shifting into different forms of New York guy.
Anyway, yeah, Honey Nut Cheerios, I think, is the best Cheerio. It's like an
I think the strawberry is a sleeper.
Ooh.
That's probably my favorite offshoot of between Honey Nut and traditional Cheerios. Traditional Cheerios, not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate them as a blank canvas that you can add whatever you want to.
Yeah.
But on their own, no.
No, I agree with you. It's kind of funny that, like, all of their variants are so much better than the OG. Because, like, cornflakes are good. Frosted Flakes, obviously, the superior cereal, but cornflake works by itself.
Sure.
Cheerios by themselves, kind of dog water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They have to have it so they can promote it's a healthy alternative.
Sure.
to sugar.
Sure.
But it obviously doesn't taste that.
Yeah. We should all three of us make a cereal tier list.
That'd be good.
We should start messing around with those tier maker lists.
Yeah.
I think that'd be
we can
fun.
do a special. We can do a.
It's very nice.
Well, now
Here
you
we
ruined
go.
it. You know,
Here we go.
DEI inclusion on the
Oh.
podcast.
Yuck. Not on the One Beer In
Not
podcast.
on this show.
Damn it. A woman?
A woman?
Huh?
What? We don't need to hear about your opinions on cereal.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? All right, let's
Okay.
get into this show proper,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
If you were curious, my name is Marco Dupa. And that guy right there, that's Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What is up, brewskis? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
And it's been a little minute.
Yeah.
So we did some traveling, and the reason for the delay is my fault this time. So I'll explain that in grave detail.
Yeah.
You were out of town. You went to the
New York City.
New York City, and you brought some stuff back.
I did.
Do you want to wait till after? And kind of.
What I'll say is these are 3 beers from Grimm Brewing.
Okay.
So I had brought some back from Grimm last time as well, but it was the one brewery that I was able to hit this last trip, and I brought back 3 to try out. I've only had 1 of the 3 in this pack.
Okay.
So it'll be new for me as well.
Okay. Well, we'll go through all of this, and in the meantime, what's on tap for tonight? Part of the reason for the delay is because it was my birthday a couple weeks ago. So we'll just catch up on that.
Yeah.
And then what else?
Similarly, quick talk about my trip to New York City.
Yes.
And then, while we were gone, some stuff happened.
Yeah, a couple of little minor things.
A few little things here and there.
Little things we might have to dress about the...
Yeah, so we're going to dip a little pinky toe into politics.
Just a little
bit.
Just
talk
a-
about
just
how
a
we feel
small
about
Kamala.
old Joe Biden stepping down and Kamala coming in.
And then, actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
the political discussion and everything, and we said we were going to talk about Tenacious D, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that was a relevant topic, and then and it just hit me why it was so relevant because I forgot. I was
what preceded that?
Yeah. So Tenacious D, we're just gonna talk about that situation as a whole.
Okay.
So
Yes.
we'll get into it.
And then finally, if we have time, we'll talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows, the creators writing an open letter to the Japanese community specifically.
Yeah. So we can't get into any of that until we get into this show and get into these brewskis. So without further ado, this is episode 433 of the One Beer In podcast. How you like that intro, you son of a bitch?
You picky asshole.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
So I should say everything that that we're going to be having on the show was recommended by the bartender who was there at the time. We went there very early. We were there at like noon.
Yeah.
And clearly he was still prepping for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And we just happened to sit right in front of his like prep station. And Sherry was very uncomfortable, but he was very nice.
Yeah.
It was just that, you sometimes feel the need to have conversation when somebody's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So,
I know. I sit there and people, they just look at me and I'm like, we don't have to.
Yeah, well, that was my point to Sherry.
fine.
I'm like, I'm sure he's fine just focusing on his work. We
Yeah.
can just sit here. And,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Talking to us because we were there, though. That's why I felt.
It
Well-
makes everyone...
a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, shout out to that guy. Didn't get his name, but he was really nice. Check out Grimm Brewing, obviously. Eric.
Eric
Ooh.
at Grimm Brewing. That's really cool. You guys actually went to Grimm.
Yeah.
We've had beers from them before. Obviously, you've had the glassware for a while.
Yeah.
So to get it from the teat,
Oh, yeah.
that's very cool.
It is a very cool brewery. They have a rooftop sort of lounge area that opens up at nighttime and quite good pizzas.
All right. Do you want to tell us about this first one?
Sure. Might as well. This is, of course, from Grimm Brewing. This is the $2 Pistol. It's a smoked red Rausch beer lager.
Red Rausch beer.
Double decoction mashed. There is no cold read, though. So that's the beginning and end of my information on this beer. Other than they were really excited about it being brewed because I think it's their first Rausch beer that they've ever done. So
Sick. Good
I
for
was like,
them.
"Oh, might as well give it a shot. Why not?
Good for them.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and we see where that one brew takes us. And where does it take us? Well, I don't know. Let's find out.
I think it takes us to your birthday.
Yeah. So
What year? What year is it? What year is it?
What year is it? It's my Shaq year, depending on which team he was on.
I was gonna say.
Lakers Shaq year.
Okay.
34. I'm 34 years old.
You're not 32.
I'm not 32. I wish I was 32. Man, 32. Actually, 32 kind of sucked.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. What was that? 2022?
I can't do math.
I don't know.
Who can say? Who can say?
It always feels like a blur.
It
From
is.
like 29 to 34 has been a wild ride.
That's a lesson to you folks.
Yeah.
Your 20s and early 30s just.
They just zip on by.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean, if I have felt the same age from like 28 to now.
And you probably will for the rest of your life. That's what I've heard from older people is like, you never really, especially as a dude, like you never really feel any different than you did past your like mid-30s.
Sorry, we won.
I mean, boys just want to have fun. What can I say?
Yeah.
So yeah, how's it feel? You feeling good?
Yeah, I don't feel any different.
Okay.
I do feel good. Yeah, I feel, I don't know. I feel, I throw my back out sometimes.
Okay. On purpose or?
Never on purpose. There are times where I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm in my 30s. And then there's times where I'm like, I'm just out of shape. I'm not old. Because I feel like there's certain things that I can still do. Sure. And I have a lot of energy and a lot of zest for life.
It sounds like you're talking about a dog that's getting old, you know?
I feel like a dog getting old.
He's really spry still, I promise.
I guess what I'm saying is like the jokes that get made about people that get into like their mid-30s.
Yeah.
And how everything hurts and how you're tired all the time. I'm like, I'm not, you know, jokes aside, I don't really feel like that. I feel like I could be in better shape, but that's overall health.
Sure.
And not just like, oh, I'm too old to get into better health. You know what I mean?
I have a theory about that. I think that the gap widens as you get older about like what better shape means. So like in order to get into better shape, you need to commit way more than you would have when you're like 25.
Also, the idea of what better shape means starts to change.
Sure. Exactly. What's the definition of better shape? Does it mean washboard abs or does it mean like not huffing and puffing when you go up the stairs?
That's all it really means. It means
not dying by 60.
Yeah.
You know, like,
that's at this point I couldn't care less about like, I mean, I want to be able. I do want to slim down.
Sure.
Only so that like I won't have any problems with like finding clothes and like, you know, fitting
that's such a big motivator is fashion.
Yeah.
You know, like being able to seeing skinny people wearing really cool outfits is like.
It's like,
oh man,
fuck you. You don't know.
Imagine.
You don't know how hard it is for the rest of us.
Imagine if you could just find an outfit like off the rack and being like, yeah, this fits fine.
Oh yeah, there's no off the rack at all. It's all, oh, this will look good once I take it to a tailor or you know, do this, that, and the other thing to try to like get it to make it look good.
Yeah.
I follow some like bigger, like I mean like size
physically
wise,
bigger,
girthier, influencers and fashion guys, just because they're like, hey man, this is what you want to do when you got, you know, linebacker thighs,
right?
It's like, cool, man, that's how I'm gonna get into these jeans.
Sure, yeah.
These 501 shrink to fits, you know what I'm saying? You know, no selvage denim.
No,
it's too uncomfortable.
Can't do it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I feel good for being as old as I am.
Yeah,
I'm as rickety and I'll tell you what ages me is going on social media, going on like TikTok and stuff, and seeing how people talk. I mean, I don't know if this guy was like
Skibbity toilet. Am I right?
Skibbity toilet, man. Oh God, should we talk about that?
No,
too?
I have nothing to add to the Skibbity toilet discussion.
I was looking. This person had tweeted about. Oh fuck! I forgot who it was. It was some actress, and he was like, you know, she looks good for her age, and she was like 26, and I was like,
huh? What?
Dude, and people think once you turn 30 that
you're dead.
I mean,
it's over.
The thing is, it's children, right? It's
Sure.
It's kids who have these opinions, but the problem is like they're the dominating voice online now,
on
right?
social media. Yeah, most social media at least.
So you want to just go, well, I'm not going to listen to an 18-year-old tell me that 28 is old,
right?
Because it's not. But at the same time, it's like when you go on these social medias that are dominated by them. Like sometimes, like I was reading something where this kid, all these people were like, Instagram's dead, and I'm like, but I love Instagram. Am I old?
But I'm there.
This kid
dead?
was like, oh, you still use hashtags? And I'm like, they don't work. Hashtag that was a thing.
But how will they find my posts?
Apparently, hashtags are not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, people have been saying that for years, but it's just because the algorithm just finds whatever keywords you're using anyway.
Well, and people just don't use them the way
You
that
don't
they were
search
intended.
hashtags.
Yeah.
Nobody searches hashtags anymore. It's
No
true.
one goes on a post and clicks on a hashtag
Right.
and go, oh, there's more hashtag podcast, hashtag Orlando podcast. Oh, I want more Orlando podcast. Yeah, it just doesn't work like that anymore. Maybe it never did.
Who knows? SEO is like one of those things that like it's like praying. It's like hopefully it works, but you never really know.
Yeah, it doesn't. Praying. SEO works. Praying.
Well, debatable. But anyway, yeah, you went to the beach. You went to Tampa.
Yeah,
you had a good time.
Yeah, we did. All set up by my beautiful significant other and my family, my friends. You guys couldn't make it because of your own traveling.
We will segue into that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's okay. I don't hate you for it.
Okay, that's fine. It's
But it was a beautifully done, masterfully concocted birthday party.
Yes.
We were out.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed.
Yes. So they
Pizza
got
party.
me. I should have wore the shirt. I forgot we were even going to talk about it, but I did get a shirt that just has the turtles, and then it just says at the bottom, "It's my birthday."
Nice.
It's just a 12-year-old's
Beautiful.
birthday.
I love it.
But we walked over. We went to downtown Tampa, hit a couple of the breweries and some bars and stuff. And every time we went in there, we were dressed as the turtle. Well, everyone just had a mask on.
Sure.
And we walked in, and every time we walked in, the bartenders, they were super cool about it, very chill, just like, oh, we're doing like a TMNT thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you get it.
Yeah, don't make it weird. Don't be like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, you know what's happening. You know, you get it.
I didn't realize it was Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was good, and we made pizza.
Nice.
We made actual pizza from Lazy Moon ingredients.
Oh,
It's very cool.
That's awesome. I didn't know you made the pizza.
Yeah, we made it. We actually we put the whole thing together.
fun
we had
activity.
The dough and yeah. Because
Wow.
Andy and I have been talking about like making homemade pizza because
Yeah.
that's where we got it from, and so we had really really good ingredients. And
Yeah.
The sauce was good, and like the toppings and stuff, and so it was great. It was a really nice time. Tampa's a beautiful city.
It is.
Has a lot of really well known breweries.
It's like Orlando, but it has a beach.
Yeah,
is
pretty
nice.
much. Yeah. And it's underrated city.
Yeah.
I don't know what its perception is to other people outside of it, but every time we go, we like find something new to do,
Sure, yeah.
find a new bar to hang out at,
Yeah.
and they just have like a really cool scene.
I would
out there.
consider it an underrated Florida city.
Yeah.
I think more people talk about like Jacksonville.
Which is crazy because Jacksonville is historically a shithole. From every,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't live in Jacksonville.
It can be
I
fun.
don't-
There's a fun strip in Jacksonville. I'll give you that.
I'll just say I call it a shithole because everybody that lived there that I've talked to called it a shithole. I've never been there before, so I don't know. So I'm just telling you what they told me.
It's a fine town.
Fine town. So Tampa's a really really fun city, and I think people they prefer Jacksonville or Tallahassee or Orlando, and they think of Tampa Bay as like Tampa Bay. You go for the sporting events and everything like that, but like the city, the culture of the city is really really nice.
And obviously, I mean, they had the craft brew culture before Orlando did.
Yeah,
so.
and it's still pretty popping. I don't know the ins and outs.
R.I.P. Cigar City.
Right. Because that's the thing. Our city is dealing with a reckoning.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine. I mean, I know all these other like breweries are closing and restructuring and everything. So I can only imagine what the Tampa city life is going through right now. But yeah, as a tourist, anyway, it's a good city.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was beautiful. You guys were missed. I just want you to know that publicly. State that publicly. You guys were both missed.
Miss you so much.
So, and I'm so happy to be back on the show, doing the show. It feels like it's been forever.
It really does. That being said, I wasn't able to give you your gifts in a timely manner because of this time that's been wasted, I'll say.
Yeah.
Away from each other.
Wasted. That's all it is.
So I want to, as I often do, I want to give you your gifts on the show.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't happen on camera, did it really happen?
Yeah, I feel like it's become tradition now.
Sherry, do you think this one first or that one first? I think this one first, right? Okay. Well, here you go. Here's gift number 1.
Okay.
I wrapped it myself.
If you're only listening, it's a box.
It is a box.
It just
Yes. It is a Walmart cardboard box. And I did not buy it from Walmart.
no.
All right, he's unwrapping. He's unwrapping.
Unwrapping. There's not anything else.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I would be
So,
surprised if there was
I'll
anything
take
else in there.
special care of the box.
Yes, please. Thank you. Rip it open. Get your mitts in there. We have bubble wrap. He's currently unwrapping. Oh yeah, there you go. Painter's tape.
Fucking ape shit on this. Fucking crazy.
You're almost there.
I know what this is.
Tell the people.
Oh, let's go, dude.
The collection is complete.
Yeah. My collection is complete. That's awesome. Okay, so for anybody who's not watching, I stumbled upon at a vintage spot the McDonald's Batman Forever tie-in glasses.
Yeah.
And I was able to procure the Batman glass and the Robin glass actually.
Yeah.
And then and then I made it my mission to try to find the rest of them. And I found the Riddler glass. I don't know, like a month ago. I found the Riddler glass.
Yeah.
And then the only one that I was missing was the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face
Two-Face.
mask
Mm-hmm.
or glass. And this fucking thing is hard as shit. You see the details on
yep.
this?
The handle is like an animation of the coin flipping in the air.
Yeah, this is sick as fuck. So
Yeah.
that's all of them. I now have the complete
set
of the Batman Forever.
We have to drink
McDonald's
like old
tie-in.
fashions out of them at some
Dog.
point.
I've been. I was. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm incredibly happy with this.
Good.
And I was waiting to complete the collection to bring them over to do exactly that. So I didn't want to bring over like an incomplete set.
Sure,
But I
sure.
did want to bring over the whole thing and have them together, and then like maybe we'll do it on the podcast.
That would
and
be
have
great.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yes,
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
And I have one more
I'm
thing.
gonna leave that right
One more thing.
there.
I found this in New York City.
New York.
Sherry will attest to this. I saw it and literally was like, I need to get that from Marco because I saw it.
We're on our way to dinner and you saw it.
I saw it in a window and I was like, oh.
Get that. And I was like, all right.
So here you go.
You wrapped it.
I wrapped it myself.
Voila. Oh. This was my profile picture on Facebook for a really long time.
Yeah.
This
I forgot if you had it physically or if you just like posted it online, but I remember you specifically having something referencing this picture,
This is amazing.
which is Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
I framed it myself.
Did you?
I did.
Did you really?
I did. I found the frame and I fitted it and
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude. This is beautiful.
hang it with pride.
I
please.
will.
Went to the store and said, where's that poster in the window? I need it.
Yeah.
Red puppy in the window. All right, give me a
Yes.
hug. Oh.
That's man love right there.
Right. That's right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Of
Thank
course. You deserve it.
That's awesome.
Everything and more. More life. More life. Yes.
Stop it.
But yes. So
That's incredible.
speaking of,
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect segue to my New York City trip.
Let's do it.
Sherry and I went to New York again. This time for another show. This time for Joey Saishi of Studio Ghibli or Ghibli, depending on your preference, fame. He was performing at Madison Square Garden for 3 nights, right? Yeah, 3 nights. We caught him on his very first night, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it is like a once in a lifetime show. I will remember that show forever. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The idea was like Sherry and I both wanted to catch him while he's still performing. He's an older man, you know, and so one of my favorite like modern day composers. It was just great to see him actually like, and he performed playing on the piano live and with the entire orchestra and a choir. I mean, it was everything I could have hoped for and more.
Did either one of you cry? You cried?
Yeah. I cried. When they played Kiki's Delivery Service, there's a violin solo.
Oh man, the soloists that they picked for this show were incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of runs the gamut because obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously to you guys at home, but Joe Hisaishi's been working with Studio Ghibli and specifically Hayao Miyazaki for decades at this point. So the music itself, because all those movies are like very different, the music itself is very different.
Yeah.
So like there's some like jazz stuff from Porco Rosso.
Right.
There's slightly more traditional Japanese sounding orchestral stuff from Princess Mononoke, and then just general like orchestral beautiful music for like the rest of it, and some of them's more like European sounding, and it's very varied, which was really nice to hear. And I mean they killed it. It was incredible. Just one of the best like concert experiences I've ever had. So that was like the main event we went for, which was awesome. I will say, Madison Square Garden, get your stuff together because I couldn't go to the bathroom for like 2 hours.
Oh no.
Because you first enter like the entryway, and well, first of all, you're like you're outside waiting to be let in. Then you're inside, and there's still no bathrooms. And then you're waiting. And then they finally start letting people trickle in to upstairs, which is where all the bathrooms are. But by then, like, an hour and a half has passed, my friend.
Yeah.
And your boy has IBS. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It was a tough time.
We had dinner right before.
We had dinner right before. I was like, no big deal. It's the garden. Like,
Yeah.
it was Thai food. One of the most prestigious concert venues of all time. And
You
I'm
would
like,
think they would have like 100 bathrooms.
I was like, surely they will have restrooms, and I won't have to worry about it. I was wrong. So if any of my other IBS brothers and sisters out there are wondering, plan accordingly.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
That's so funny. I wouldn't even think about the bathroom situation in Madison Square Garden because my thought would be like, yeah, there's a bathroom on every corner.
That was my thought as well, my friend, and I suffered for it.
Yeah.
I was about to pass out. But, we made it. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was great once we got actually let into the upstairs floors. And lots of cool memorabilia. I showed you that picture with Muhammad Ali and as well as Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
Signed gloves and
Both of their
pictures.
gloves, yeah.
So cool.
Amazing.
So cool.
Incredible stuff. I don't know if he spoke to you about like how much Muhammad Ali means to me.
He hasn't.
I thought it was to be understood.
Yeah.
Well, Marco likes WWE, so yeah.
Oh, they had Hogan's outfit signed from
Fuck
the
Hulk
first WrestleMania.
That's cool.
And that's
cool.
that's what I said though too. I was like, no. I was gonna take
Yeah.
a picture of myself flicking it off.
Yeah.
Brother.
Just for the audience and for your edification, Muhammad Ali was like a guy. I mean, he's the first person. I guess like he was the first person when I was a kid that I started learning about, especially when you in Florida schools. I don't know how they handle it in other places, but in Florida schools, we used to have to do a project. Black History Month, you had to pick a black hero or somebody that they all of the
I did Wilt Chamberlain.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I bought a Wilt Chamberlain jersey for it. It was great.
So I mean, every year I picked Muhammad Ali just because he's a larger than life figure, but then obviously like everything that he's been through, everything that he did, his accomplishments, everything about him,
His principles.
and well, it's only when I got older that I understood like what he really, really represented and what he really gave up and what he really strove for and all these things. So, I mean, ever since I was a kid, Muhammad Ali's been my favorite boxer. He's my favorite athlete pretty much. And he's been like a hero of mine. I love Muhammad Ali. Yeah. I've read his book. I've watched all the movies. I've seen the documentaries. Like Muhammad Ali is my guy. Yeah. So this poster, I mean, it's very meaningful to me. So
I knew it. I knew it.
So
yes.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff at the garden. Bathrooms is not one of them. However, we had a good time. It was a fantastic concert. We went out for drinks afterwards. It was a really nice night. Shifting from that, Grimm Brewing, as I already mentioned, I would say if you want to go to one brewery in New York City, for my money, you go to Grimm.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It's replaced Brooklyn Brewing for me.
You said that out loud.
I did. I'll say it again.
Sorry, Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the vibes are there. It's more of a local brewery than it is than Brooklyn Brewing is.
What'd you say?
Oh yeah, there's instead of a brewery dog, like a lot of places have brewery dogs, they have a brewery cat.
Yeah,
who's apparently been a neighborhood cat forever, like even before they were there.
Yeah,
and his name's Simcoe.
Yeah.
He's got his little ear tag because he's a stray apparently. But he's just so chill and just walks around the brewery. We got to see him. I got a shirt with him on it. Again, like just the fact that they have an upstairs that lets you like hang out outside when the weather's good.
Yeah.
They have food. They have cocktails. They have, I mean, kind of everything that you would want in a brewery, and then some. So,
excuse me.
Shout out to Grimm.
I wonder what the situation is to get a liquor license out there.
It has to be less strict than it is here because
it's
like
crazy
here
to try
is
to get
like
one here.
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's awesome that a brewery has all of that, all rolled in one.
Yeah. And I found that with a lot of their bars, too. A lot of their, like, even if it's like a brew pub-centric thing, they tend to have a liquor license.
Yeah.
It's not as weird over there. It seems like, at least on face value.
I mean, I'm sure, like, for them, the nightlife is, like, that's...
Well, it's bread and butter.
Yeah, that goes hand in hand with people visiting the city. You would think that our representatives would feel the same way.
They clearly don't.
They do not.
They've been tightening the pincers.
Yeah. Have you seen this new one?
I sure have, yeah.
This new law, it's gone into effect, is you can't open a new nightclub that is, what was it, 500 yards?
Something like that,
from another nightclub.
Yeah.
So you've got to go like at least 500 yards. I could be getting that number messed up, but it's either 3 or 500. I think it might be 3.
Quite a healthy distance from another nightclub.
Yeah. You basically got to like go another block over to create a nightclub here in Orlando.
They don't want a strip of nightclubs like there are on Church Street currently.
Yeah.
Like the places that are currently there are being grandfathered in. But you can't do that again.
Yeah, they don't like the idea of just being able to walk from spot to spot because I guess they're like, it only breeds more misbehavior and violence to like get drunk from place to place.
Well, they've literally said the reason is they want it to be more family friendly, and it's like how much more family friendly can downtown Orlando get? I don't understand.
Here's the thing: downtown Orlando at night is not family friendly.
Yeah,
it's not. So either you change the city completely and you put a fucking Chili's there.
But that's what Disney's for.
Right.
Like, it's there. Kissimmee is there. iDrive is there.
And who is clamoring to bring their kids to bars in downtown Orlando? Who's asking for that after 10 or 11 o'clock? Who wants that?
I don't know.
You fucking parents, man. I swear to God, these fucking parents, dude. That think like,
I'm more important.
Why can't I bring my kid to a family-friendly bar at 11:30 in downtown Orlando? I get the violence. The shootings is not good.
Oh, sure, of course.
Obviously. I get
that. But
Hot take.
Shootings aren't good.
I don't know if you guys are going to stick with me on this.
Not a fan of gun violence.
I don't like gun violence, okay? This guy right here, you can put that on a bumper sticker. But, I mean... I've been here since 1999.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I'm like, our downtown Orlando is where adults go to
Sure.
have a good time.
Even Disney, downtown Disney, used to be a place that wasn't for kids.
Yeah.
After a certain time, there used to be Pleasure Island.
Yeah.
There used to be a bunch of other, not a bunch, but a few other nightclubs and stuff in the area that specifically entertained adults.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right. Well, and
What's the problem
Who
here?
is spending this money? Right? Do you want people to be able to go out and? I mean, you're gonna kill the economy of downtown
it's not like they haven't been through enough already with COVID.
Right.
We're just getting past that now. It's like what are we doing here?
Right.
What's the deal, man? That we had the parking restrictions after a certain
that
time.
they walked back. Right?
Oh,
Silently.
did they? Okay, I didn't hear about that.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No.
They walked it back silently. They didn't talk about it. They didn't make a big announcement about it because
That's
they
why I
would
didn't
have
hear
to
about it.
admit that they were wrong.
Yeah.
So they just silently was like, yeah, we fucked that one up.
Well, all that to say, New York doesn't have that problem, obviously.
Yeah.
The city that never sleeps,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grimm, awesome. We also went to this wine bar out of the blue called Song Hardin.
Song Hardin.
Is that how you pronounce it? It's Jardim. Jardim. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Saint Jardim. It's a wine bar, and I had some excellent natural wine there. It was chilled because it was hot out. They have a chilled red wine, natural red wine. I could have sat there drinking that red wine all day. So shout out to Saint Jardim. Staff was really cool, really nice. We saw a dog there. It was great. Yeah.
You saw a dog.
I saw a dog there. Yeah.
Saw a dog.
But I should say we went there because it was right next to this really small jazz bar.
Ooh.
Basement jazz bar
Uh-huh.
that has live music.
It's jazz, baby.
It's jazz, baby. You like jazz?
You like jazz?
They have, what is it, every Friday?
It's like every Saturday.
Or Saturday.
Yeah.
Every Saturday at around 2 o'clock, they have essentially like a warm-up session where, there's a trio there that I think plays there pretty often, and then they allow basically anyone who wants to play to come up and jump in, basically.
You go up there and play the Wii theme song over and over again.
do 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 do. Whoa, whoa.
Check this shit out.
Guys, you never heard this one before.
You don't get it, but your kids are gonna love it. No, but we went down there. We were kind of afraid it was gonna be packed, which it became. But
It's like 200 square feet.
Oh,
tiny,
super small.
tiny place, and its name is Smalls.
Oh,
It's called
sick.
Smalls.
I love that.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just so cool to like just catch a vibe down there
Yeah.
and have some drinks. There's no, obviously because it's underground, there's no windows, so it's like has that kind of like casino vibe where it's like I don't know what time it is, right?
Right.
It could be 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I don't know, but just being there and seeing really like jazz improv in front of your face in the way that you don't normally do, especially in Orlando. Like Orlando's jazz scene kind of sucks. But seeing it there was really, really cool as someone who's trying to learn the saxophone,
Yeah.
especially. So I just really like that there are plenty of opportunities like that in the city that allow people that are like, not professional, but are trying to get their chops to go up in front of an audience and like jump into a groove and like do their thing.
Yeah.
So
That's very cool.
very, very cool spot. There are plenty of options in New York City, obviously, for seeing jazz, but I recommend this place. It's out of the, not out of the way, but like it's a small joint that's not like steeped in jazz infamy. Like it's not one of these like historic buildings or anything, but
Yeah.
it's still alive. Like it still feels like people are
Yeah.
taking their time to go in and innovate and play and have fun. I would love to go back there like for an actual performance. I should say the sort of matinee performance they do is free, so you can just go in and it's like a 1 drink minimum and you're good.
Yeah.
So
And he fulfilled that minimum.
I sure did. I had more than 1 drink. I'll tell you that much. Not the best old fashioned. Don't get an old fashioned there. Finally, I want to add one more thing. Is that surprisingly, our hotel was right by Midtown's Perfect Pour.
Okay.
Which is a franchise restaurant, Irish pub style place. But I had such a good time there. We went twice. Well, I went twice. Sherry came with me the second time.
What were you doing the first time?
She was getting her nails did in Jersey. So while she was getting her nails
hold on.
I was
Put
there.
a pin in that for 2 seconds.
Okay.
The video that you recorded, I told Andy about it because I've told you guys. I don't know if I've told you guys, but were we watching
the Sopranos? Yeah.
Let me tell you something. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. So funny.
Sherry did a Sopranos intro cover essentially with her nails getting done in New Jersey.
When
and
it
was
cuts to just your face and you just got like that I mean, I was like, this is. I was looking around like, anybody else seeing this? This is so funny.
She did that on her own. I had no input. She shared it with me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
this is
that
really
was
good.
really, really funny. So I just had to tell you that in person because I threw you the little laughing emoji on Instagram, but I needed to tell you how much I enjoyed that. I watched it a couple of times. I thought it was really, really funny.
Yeah.
I actually was hoping that you saved it because I wanted to watch it again. If your thing is set up to auto archive, it should be in your. But
Okay.
I thought that was really, really.
It was
funny.
good. It was a good
How
video.
hard it is to film yourself at a profile angle. That's why it looks like.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that. Yeah, and it's just like.
Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Salute.
On the New Jersey Turnpike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, while Sherry's getting her nails done literally by the person who did the nails on The Sopranos,
Yeah.
I went literally next door to our hotel to the Perfect Pint. And I think the guy that was serving me was the franchisee or owner of that specific location. He sounded like he was an English northerner, and he was a gentleman. He had a beautiful beard, treated me well. I had fish and chips, actually really good.
Yeah.
And I had a healthy handful of pints there. And while I was there, the England game came on TV. Soccer game, football for you UKers out there, and people started to trickle in and got really into the game, and I'm like, this is the perfect place to be at this very moment.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, this is nice.
Yeah.
And we eventually, again, another place that could just be a regular pub with just beer, but it has an entire open bar, or full bar, not open bar. You got to pay for it.
Yeah.
But I just want to shout them out because I feel like I would have assumed it would be like a tourist trap place. And it was a little expensive because we were in Midtown, so, everything there is pretty expensive. But all that to say, it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad it was one of those places I just decided to wander into because it's so close. And I'm glad I did. So shout out to the Perfect Pint, Midtown.
Okay.
Great time. Okay. Next time we're there, I want to check out the German restaurant across the street because it looks legit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, had a great time.
Beautiful.
I'll cap it off with that.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So, we traveled, we come back, and now we have to deal with the consequences of our traveling. I think it's our fault that all of these things are happening. So, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, boy howdy.
Yeah.
We, sometimes you kind of, you step away from your devices and you say, I want to step into the real world for a little while and try to try not to be so attached and so plugged into everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even Andy was like, you're like online all the time. And I'm like, I'm just plugged in, you know what I mean?
Sherry gives me that all the time.
I don't feel like, so here's the thing. I don't think that I'm like spending too much time on the internet. I do feel like I spend a lot of time making sure I'm keeping up with what's going on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not like attached to my phone. I can put it down for hours on end and not like
For minutes.
I mean, I can. I do for minutes on end, dude.
Yeah.
I put it down and boy, I can watch
I feel
a commercial.
good. I
You
feel
know?
good.
I'll watch a show and like I won't pick up my phone for like 10 minutes.
It's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of hard to watch TV
wild.
without looking at your phone and then
Oh yeah.
you know.
Does that all the time.
When we're watching like The Bachelor
Well-
or Bachelorette.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be consumed by something actually interesting.
Yeah.
Kaboom!
In your face.
So, you know, that's what you do. You kind of like unplug for a little while. You think you're going to have a good time. And then what happens? You plug back in and where are we?
And Trump gets shot.
And Trump gets shot.
Yeah.
Trump gets shot.
We were in our hotel. I think I had the news on just in the background, and Sherry was taking a nap, and she had just gotten out of her daze, and I was looking at my phone I was on Twitter, and I was like, huh? And I look on TV, and it's all that's on TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go, hey, somebody tried to kill Trump. I said, watch this.
I think it was like my first day back to work, actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we were sitting there and we were all shooting the shit and stuff. And then the clip gets posted and I was like, oh, that's funny. That's like a bit that somebody's doing. Not that it's funny that he got shot,
Right.
but that it was, I thought somebody was like here's what I'm in all seriousness. I thought that like a bug had like whizzed. Because remember when he got like a couple years ago, and like Secret Service like tackled him, and it was like a whole big thing, and it turned out
like
to
a
be
false alarm.
Yeah, I thought like a bug had whizzed by him, and he like overreacted, and I thought it was the
Sure.
same thing, and I was like, oh, that's funny, just Trump being. And then when I found out like, oh no, they actually shot him, I was like,
Yeah.
God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not trying to make light of that. I'm just saying. I think for my first
hard to
reaction
believe.
was like, yeah,
It's hard to believe.
in 2024, like this modern era, to think that like an American politician, a former president, however you feel about him,
Right. With Secret Service protection.
an assassination attempt on a former president, like
Was this close from going through.
yeah, man, I don't know, that's just crazy. It's crazy. It's
Shocking.
crazy to think about. It's shocking.
Shocking.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really. It's like wow. We're still. No matter how far along you think that we are, no matter how progressive you think that we are, there's still moments where you're like, oh man, shit could go down in an instant.
Yeah.
Shit could go down in an instant.
Yep.
You know, so it's wild, and that obviously sent ripples. It basically changed the entire landscape, entire political landscape.
Yeah, for sure. I think this obviously. I mean, maybe not for you guys if you're living in the future right now, but if you're coming back to watch this video,
Right.
This was post the terrible debate for Joe Biden.
We didn't really talk about that debate, and we haven't really.
Yeah, I mean,
any of it.
we tend not to touch the politics as much as possible, but obviously this is a big enough story that we have to.
Yeah. Tell the people I gotta pee.
Okay. So this.
A lot of Grimm brewing.
Thank you, Kamala. Yeah.
Can I sub in?
What?
Can I sub in?
All right. Come on. Come on.
Okay. Hi.
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 How was your time in New York?
My time was good, thanks.
Yeah.
Can I tell my favorite thing from New York?
Sure.
My favorite thing in New York was hanging out with you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes.
Stop it.
But also, if you go to New York, you have to go to Postcard because they make a really good strawberry sando. It was made with fresh fruit.
Well, explain what a sando is. Yeah.
Well, sando, for those that don't know, is short for sandwich, but it indicates it's a Japanese sandwich made with like
Milk
really
bread.
fluffy milk bread as the bread, and it could be like, pork cutlet sando or an egg salad sando, but my favorite is the strawberry sando, which is basically just 2 pieces of really fluffy bread with whipped cream in it and fresh cut strawberries.
Uh-huh.
And it's dessert, but like it is the tastiest thing.
It's just
And-
it's whipped cream and fruit and bread.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I ate that up in Japan, so it was nice to have it
Yeah.
again.
Well, they have
in-
them even like the quickie marts in Japan.
Yeah,
So,
so strawberry sando, highly recommend.
yes.
For postcard. And wait, what were you talking about before I cut in?
The former president's assassination attempt.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm glad you got to talk about your sando though.
Yeah, my take on the assassination attempt was that was pretty crazy.
Okay,
I'm
thank
out.
you.
I wanted to sub in.
All I heard from the bathroom was her talking about sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, what were we talking about? The assassination attempt on the former president.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
But yeah, strawberry sandos
Yeah.
or whatever.
Anywho.
Found my shades on the way in. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
man.
Yeah. So I'm just saying in the context of this assassination attempt, we had a terrible performance from Joe Biden in the presidential debates. The first one, which was historically early. And
Yeah, he
a lot
asked
of-
for this. He
yeah.
literally asked for this, and then
And a lot of people were saying, you know, it's in the bag, baby.
Yeah.
It's already in the bag for Biden or no, for Trump, because Biden clearly, like, his marbles are gone.
yeah,
For better or worse. And then the assassination attempt happened. Trump comes up with this, I mean, all-time photo with his fist raised in the air,
Yeah.
blood streaming off his face.
I mean, you got to give credit where it's due.
oh, I mean,
If you're a Republican, if you're MAGA, man, what an image.
incredible.
Yeah,
So by that point, you know, the cards the cards were fully in, and we saw the writing on the wall. It was over for Biden. Everyone continued to press him and say, like, look, man, you gotta go.
yeah,
Like, you are not gonna win. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no path forward, especially at this point. And he kept responding by saying, essentially, I'm still gonna fight.
still in
I'm
it,
still in it. I have no plans on bowing out.
folks.
And
I'm not gonna sleep till
please,
it's time to sleep.
please no more meetings. And then he catches COVID,
Yeah,
and it's like it feels like that was the final straw.
yeah,
And finally, it was like, okay, there is truly no path forward for Joe Biden.
yeah.
And lo and behold, though, you know, his proponents were continuing to say no, he has no plans on ducking out, he went ahead and did that.
He called it, Coach.
Yep.
He called it.
So
Subbed himself out.
out of the blue on a Sunday, right? It was Sunday.
I don't remember. It was a day that will live in infamy.
Yeah.
I don't remember what
It was
the day
the day.
was.
Sunday. He comes out with this post on social media, a letter saying, "It's been my pleasure being the president. I intend to focus on finishing out this term, and then I'm out of the race.
I'm gonna let the youngins handle it."
Yeah. And then he, after that, posted pretty soon thereafter saying, I'm backing Kamala to take over.
Yeah,
And see y'all later.
that was it.
And that was that. Yeah. So, obviously, that leaves a lot of questions from us two lefties in the room.
Yeah.
How do you feel now that Joe Biden has stepped down and Kamala has taken the reins as the next front runner for the Democratic Party moving forward before the DNC?
Yeah, she is the front runner, but she's not actually like. She's basically the foregone conclusion. She got all
Yeah.
the delegates and
It's not
everything,
official
and-
yet.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty much.
she's gotten enough support that, you know,
Yeah.
it's easy to read those tea leaves.
I think it would have been really awkward for her to not get the nomination. It would be incredibly weird for the VP of the current administration to not be the choice to take over. So I feel like it's a little. Man, I mean, I just feel like if you're Kamala, for instance, like, man, how insulting would it have been to be like, yeah, we're gonna go with Gavin Newsom, you know?
What if Biden was like, nah, not you?
So not to say that Kamala isn't qualified. I wonder. So here's my thing. I'm gonna try to take.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal, man. I'm going to try to take as pragmatic of a view of this as possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have voted. I didn't vote for her in the primary when they were running way back when.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested in seeing what kind of platform she's going to have that is different from Joe Biden's platform. Or I guess just the current administration's platform. Like, what are the changes she's going to make?
Right. What will the differences be?
Yes, because basically, I'm interested in finding out, is a vote for Kamala Harris a vote for the Joe Biden administration? Or is she actually going to come in with new, fresh ideas and say, a vote for Kamala is a vote for Kamala?
Well, it's funny because I was watching the news today. And
yuck.
Yeah, I know. But there was a recent poll done, I think by CNN or somebody, that said that a majority of people would want her to continue the policies that Joe Biden has already enacted as opposed to changing things.
That's interesting because there are so many people who are unhappy with Joe Biden's performance.
Right.
It's interesting for people to be like, yeah, but she should continue the status quo.
And I wonder if the real difference maker here is just like surface level, like the fact that she can compete in a debate.
If she can just communicate those ideas more clearly than he can, that's all people really want.
And I get the feeling that the majority of like middle America, that's all they really care about, and that's really the major issue they had with Joe Biden, other than the obvious things like, you know, the economy and, you know, disruptions in the Middle East and conflicts abroad and things like that.
I mean, the stuff at home, if he were a more effective communicator, and the thing and the great irony of it is that he used to be a very effective communicator.
For sure.
If he was still Biden from even 2020, he would have been able to effectively communicate the fact that, like, you know, the economy is in a good place.
Yep. Even though it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like, and it probably won't.
But explain why does it not feel like that? What are we waiting for?
Right. He needs to be able to effectively communicate the idea that, like, these are long-term things that happen, and you know, you're asking normal people to basically batten down the hatches and try to make it until the effects of a good economy hit the middle class.
Yeah.
But if you just keep telling people that we're in the best economic place that we could be in the past, like 5-10 years, and you have middle class people going, well,
how?
I'm still spending a fortune.
It still hurts though.
Then you're not effectively communicating those
Right.
ideas, right? And I don't know if Kamala can do that. She seems to be more effectively. I'll just say, from a personal standpoint, like I don't know. I don't really like her. The way
I
that
want to
she
say I don't either.
Yeah, I mean,
but it has a lot to do with the fact.
Not that I just don't like her flat out, but just like from a political standpoint, I just don't see. She doesn't really. Maybe my feelings will change, but like, makes me want to throw up thinking about politics.
Settle down.
I just don't get the same amount of. I mean, I didn't get this from Joe Biden either, so let's just be clear about that. But I don't really feel any kind of like hopefulness or any kind of like, you know, this is somebody who's going to change the status quo. This is somebody who's going to have a lot of progressive ideas. And
the weird thing for me is that I do feel more hopeful for her than I did with Biden coming into this election season.
Yeah.
But it's not because of her policies, and it's not because, I mean, it's not really for any reason other than the fact that she is a better communicator. And it's like, that's the bare minimum we can ask for from an elected official, is to be able to talk to us effectively and not be hiding most of the time, because, you know, the party and the powers that be don't want any more flubs.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm glad that we will now have an effective communicator, but do I agree with the majority of her politics? I mean, we'll see. But based on her prosecution history, like, I have a lot of qualms with her as a person. But all that to say, again, am I going to vote for someone I have some issues with based on her past and some of her policies, or someone I feel is a real danger to our democracy? It's pretty easy decision for me to make. Yeah, it's still a bit of a pill to swallow. Yeah, but I mean, I'll swallow that pill based on.
I know you'll swallow.
Yeah, that's right. But it feels like a tiny bit less of the percentage of I'm voting against Trump as opposed to I'm voting for this person.
It's hard to get enthusiastic right now in these kind of like dire circumstances, because I
think we just have to get through this one, and then we'll have a new set of people come through.
Hopefully.
It just feels like this is the place we're in, and this is the best we can do at this moment.
But I mean, it's 4 more years of like, this is the best we can do. And I feel like we're like, this can't be the best that we can do. This can't be it.
But we've been told that for the past like 8 years, right?
I feel like post Obama, it's been only, well, this is all we got.
It's the best we can do. Yeah.
And I know there are people out there who are like, no, you should be more enthusiastic about this. And maybe you didn't do enough research to understand like why Hillary would have been a good choice, or why Joe Biden's first term is a good first term, and blah, 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 blah. I get it. But you have to be able to effectively communicate to the layman, really.
Yeah.
And I'm not insulting other people. I'm calling myself that. You have to be able to effectively communicate to people who are like, I mean, I keep up with politics, but I keep up with it in the same way that most Americans keep up with it. So you have to be able to effectively communicate to those people, like, why should we give a shit? Really? That's at the end of the day, it's like Kamala is a viable candidate. She has her strengths and she has her weaknesses. And I think like their job now is going to be effectively communicating those strengths. I think that the Republican Party right now is really showing their hand with how upset they are.
Yeah, all the stuff that's come out about like she's a DEI hire, and you know, a lot of the rhetoric that we've seen, you know, obviously from more of the far right than the moderate, about like, oh, you know, she shouldn't be in that position because she's a woman, and she, you know, how can she talk about women's health and you know, abortion when she doesn't have her own kid? Like all this stuff coming out that's like disgusting and weirdo behavior.
Bro, it's crazy for a party that just nominated J.D. Vance to be like, she wasn't qualified. Like, I mean,
she's kind of weird.
I mean, she laughs. She
laughs funny.
Do the laugh.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, she's in the room right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that part is wild to me.
Well, and the obvious irony of like the right voting for a convict and the left voting for a cop is like, you know, it writes itself.
That's always fun.
Yeah. So
irony.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see though. I personally, as a left-leaning American, feel more hopeful for Kamala, but it's marginal.
Yeah.
You know, in any other context, I would not vote for her personally.
Well, we didn't.
Yeah.
When we had the choice of other Democrats.
Right.
I did. So again, I don't know. We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic about like what her term could represent. Obviously, optically,
Yeah.
what it represents is incredible.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that. But
And
from a actual political standpoint,
yeah, what the actual policies will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And I do think one good thing about her is that she is smart enough and savvy enough to play the game.
yeah,
So I feel like if we put enough pressure on her to do the right thing, she will feel that pressure and do the right thing eventually.
yeah.
I hope. I
Seems
hope.
to be the only way, that politics.
That's the only way it works.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No,
Don't be fooled.
You got to put enough pressure on them that they're like, you know what? It affects our bottom line.
Right. This makes
if
me
we
look
don't
bad.
do this. Yeah, yeah. We're not going to make as much money, and we're not going to have as much power if we don't listen to these people. That
the
really,
little people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, to cap that off, I'm gonna go pee now.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna sneak into this bag
No.
here. Oh, okay.
No.
I'm not gonna sneak into
No.
this bag.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. I don't really know how to vamp.
Do you want me to sub in?
Yeah, Sherry, sub in.
Okay.
Well, not that I don't know how to vamp. I can. No. You can. Come on.
okay.
Not. I'm just saying I don't want to downplay my own skills as an orator myself.
Right, you're
as
an
as an
orator.
as a communicator of ideas.
Yes. What would you like to talk about?
No. I'm just saying it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
You got it?
Yeah. No. You
Oh,
sit here
okay.
and-
So this is a commercial break to talk about the latest season of The Bachelorette.
I don't know if we've ever been at this angle before.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Actually, I've always been on your seat.
Yeah. Let's not talk about The Bachelorette. Let's talk about anything
Oh,
else.
anything else?
Anything else?
Okay, 90 Day Fiancé the other way.
Is that all your brain is filled with?
My days are so full.
How about
of
this? Have you watched
yeah.
any of the the Netflix docs? Like I just finished. Andy and I we were watching Worst Roommate Ever. Did you watch Worst Roommate Ever?
I did watch that, but
Yeah.
that was a while ago, so I don't remember any of the roommates. Yeah, I've
Wow.
been watched
Wow.
that, so catch up.
Did you watch
man.
what Jennifer did?
No, but I heard about that.
Yeah,
I heard that was crazy.
We're halfway through that one.
That's not.
What
Is that
Jennifer
the one
did.
where Jennifer? She definitely. She's someone who like killed her mom, I think. And
Hey, that's what they're saying.
They're saying she killed her mom out of failure because out of
failure.
out of fear of failure. Sorry, because her mom was a
of
tiger, a
failure.
Chinese tiger mom, and she was scared of. I don't know all the details.
Yeah,
But
that's part of it.
that's part of it. It's
Then she put her dad in a coma, and then he woke up, and he was like, "She did it."
yeah.
Yeah.
He woke up and was like, it was her.
Yeah.
Oh, Biden's on right now. I'm gonna.
Oh, is he addressing the country?
Yeah, he is.
Folks, in this sacred space.
Surrounded by portraits of extraordinary presidents. Thomas Jefferson wrote
the
immortal words that guide this nation.
Presidents are not kings. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll watch that later.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube.
You want me to read the closing?
No, that's all right.
No.
That's okay. That's all right. All right. Anyway, back to the more important things.
These always seem really weird when they do this shit. Yeah, I mean, keep doing this. But when they do shit like this, it always feels like it's not real.
Yeah.
Like it feels like he's gonna announce that like aliens are real or something. You know?
It's because we grew up on Independence Day
Yeah. And Mars
Attacks. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem normal for him to be like, I'm sitting in the Oval Office
Look-
and I'm addressing the nation.
Here's the pictures of my family.
Yeah. And then we got to sit here and like every word that comes out of his mouth is pretty consequential. You know what I'm saying? Like if he at any point misspeaks or says like a weird sentence, you're like, well, you were talking to the nation, brother. Like
Right.
everyone is
That
tuned
has
in.
been written down.
I don't know. It always like
That's what
you-
people are saying about this speech in particular is like, this is such a consequential speech that like it could be up there with like historically revered speeches, like
Yeah.
important speeches, I should say. Not that it'll be a great speech, but that it has so
I mean,
much.
people were
importance.
saying like that's like this one
this
right now.
now, because
That we're not listening to
Yeah,
because we're
I mean-
recording a podcast.
well, it's on YouTube. We can fast forward. if we want to.
Yeah. We can watch it at 2 times the speed, so
Yeah.
we don't have to sit here and listen
Yeah.
to him fucking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but because of the fact that everything we were talking about is that like presidential nominee that's running for re-election hasn't stepped down from that re-election campaign in forever.
Yeah,
it's been
pretty
a
crazy
long
to think about.
time.
Yeah.
So that's why it's
Not in our lifetimes.
exactly, yeah. Anyway, we got a stout to drink.
Yeah.
I got this guy again because bartender Eric, was it?
Eric
said Grimm isn't known for making stouts, but they made this one, and he, for his money, it's his favorite currently on the brew list. And I got it because we don't ordinarily get stouts here either.
We don't really do a lot
but
of stouts.
I know it's your favorite style, so that's why I got it.
Well, thank you. Stout.
And it's just a stout. It's not a milk stout. It's not a double stout. It's not a barrel age. It's just a stout.
Stout.
You don't see that too often.
You don't see that too often.
And I should say this one is called the Single Negative. Again, no cold read, but, you know, what you got to do?
What are you going to do?
Ooh.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Actually?
Actually? Well, speaking of politics, we should talk about Tenacious D.
Yeah.
A band that you wouldn't think very political.
Also a lifelong partnership.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, they've made... I don't know. They've made like funny songs about politics. They're not like a political band. They're not like Rage Against the Machine or anything, but so it was actually Kyle Gass's birthday.
Yeah.
When this took place. They were on tour, Tenacious D. If you're not aware, it's Jack Black, mega famous comedian, actor, singer, and Kyle Gass, the
guitarist.
I guess he's just the lead guitarist, yeah.
He sings on a couple songs too.
He sings backup.
Backup singer, yeah. Musician
of Tenacious D fame. Actor in the Tenacious D movies, I'm sure, and he's probably got like cameos.
He's had side roles and stuff,
yeah. They've been touring, and Kyle Gass's birthday, they asked him what his wish was. Some big robot came out with a cake, and he blew out the candles, and he said, next time, don't miss Trump.
Yeah.
And the crowd loved it. Jack Black loved it. Kyle Gass said it, so he obviously believed in it. And the fallout was pretty swift from the right side of the aisle. And from the left, honestly, too. They were like, you know, this is not the kind of stuff that we need right now.
Yeah.
This derision, this division. We need to be coming together. We need to turn down the temperature. You're seeing a lot of people with this fucking, you know, we got to cool the jets. We got to, everybody's got to relax.
It's about unity.
And then the right was just like, crazy Kamala. Like immediately after all of this fucking let's come together.
Right.
Dude, I saw
the DNC happened like right after. RNC, excuse me. The RNC happened right after.
Yeah.
And like there are so many speakers there that were essentially saying, we're going to need a civil war.
Yeah, no, it was awful. It was this idea of like unity and coming together and reaching across the aisle, it was all fucking lip service from MSNBC and fucking CNN. It wasn't. I don't even remember anybody on Fox or anybody on the right who was like, you know what's gonna happen at the RNC is unity. It was just all these people who were like, you know what we need, and they were like, fuck that shit. You know what we need. You know what we need. You know what we need. Oh, come in here, brother. Hulk running wild on you. This is what he said. I loved it. He said, Hulk was sitting at home, right?
Yeah.
Hulk was sitting at home, and I couldn't stand. They took a shot at the next president of the United States, brother. That's why. And then, oh man, I wish I brought a second shirt so I should just
rip
fucking
it.
tear this one off.
Yeah.
Because he gets through. I love that he like gets through like the majority of the shirt, and then he gets to the bottom of it, and he's like, his arms are too. He's taking off his sports coat, and he can barely get the sports coat off.
Yeah.
And he shimmies it off.
Those shoulders are way too rigid.
Way too rigid.
Yeah.
And then he gets through the shirt, brother, and he gets about right here, and then he's got to grab the bottom of it, brother, and then he's got to tear the rest of it, and then. For the president,
Hulkamania's gonna run wild on you, brother. Oh.
Well, didn't he say like Trump mania? Was it?
Did he say Trump?
I think
Trump
he said
mania?
Trump mania or something to that.
Trump mania, brother.
And fuck Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying almost at this point, but yeah, I agree. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the guy that is most famous now for saying the N-word about his daughter's boyfriend at the time.
Well, there's a lot of people that still don't know that video exists. Like, there's a lot of people that try to, like, my hat go. They try to downplay it.
I think if you don't know, you willingly don't know, though.
Absolutely.
It's very easy to find.
Well, and then there's people who are like, Mark Henry's fine with it. Not fine with it. I don't put words in Mark Henry's mouth. But Mark Henry forgave him. And it's like, I don't give a fuck what Mark Henry thinks. Okay?
You mean black people aren't a monolith? You mean one guy doesn't speak for everyone?
I respect Mark Henry for everything that he's done and who he is as a wrestler, but
but he also has a personal relationship with Hulk Hogan too.
And he has a personal relationship with the company to not, like, make waves and yeah. So
shake the boat too much.
Yeah. Excuse me. Anyway,
he probably got paid to say that.
Yeah, of course. So you've got all these people who were talking about unity, and then the RNC was like, fuck unity. And then Kyle Gass goes on stage, and he's like, President Trump should have died, basically. And people weren't happy about that either.
Yeah.
And then the fallout was swift and
personal.
I think Jack Black probably took stock of everything, and he was like, all right, do I give up Mario money? Do I give up Disney money? Do I give up Kung Fu Panda money for my friend?
You need that sweet Kung Fu Panda money, I'll tell you what.
Or do I, hang him out to dry?
Yeah.
And Jack Black chose to fucking hang him out to dry.
Yeah.
And
he fulfilled the parody song about them breaking up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I'll just say that I don't think Mr. Black thought that one through.
Yeah.
Because the only worst way to handle the fallout of your friend saying something crazy is to fucking hang them out to dry for Republicans, especially in this like super politically charged era that we're in.
Yeah.
To fucking hang your boy out like that.
Unbelievable.
I mean, everyone from all angles was like, damn, bro. Not only did your boy say something crazy, but then you fucking sold him out like that. So he got no morals and you got no morals.
It was a real Judas move. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, it really was like,
rough.
Damn, bro. That's how you do your boy?
Yeah. No one left that situation looking very good. I'll tell you that much.
No.
But then what happened more recently was because immediately after all the dust settled on that situation, Kyle Gass ended up putting up an apology, essentially saying like, I took
it down too.
I spoke. I was going to get to.
Oh, sorry. Stepping on toes. Sorry, I apologize.
It's fine. He essentially said like, I spoke in the heat of the moment. I did not mean that, and I don't agree with the violent rhetoric, et cetera, and then he, in days passing, ended up taking that apology down.
Yeah.
So, obviously it's easy to Monday morning quarterback here, but at the same time, how is it not obvious unless like Jack Black is literally getting threats from like the studios, like you got to distance yourself? How's it not obvious? All that has to happen is Kyle issues an apology, says, look, it was a joke. It was a rough joke. I don't actually want the former president to die. I apologize. And you move on.
I mean, he probably does want him to die, though. That's the thing.
But you can't say that, right? You can't say that.
Well,
not with someone like Jack Black as your partner.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Kyle probably should have thought about the fact that like you're fucking up the money of your boy, and all his opportunities by him. You kind of put him in a no-win situation.
Sure.
He either sells you out or he sells himself out or whatever. I don't know, though. I mean, I don't know. It kind of gets to this existential conversation about, like, yo, how much money do you need to make, Jack Black?
That's pride. Fucking with you.
I just feel like, at what point are your morals for sale?
Yeah. Well, and
I'll just say this: if you said something crazy,
this is where I want to take the conversation. Is what would we do in this situation?
I don't know about. I think I know about you. I've said some crazy shit on here. I've taken.
Oh, you have.
I've gone places.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. I take a very Godfather view of disagreements with my close circle of family and friends. If I disagree with something that a friend or a family member says, I'm going to tell them in private, like, you need to fix that. But I'm not going to go out in public and be like, I need to distance myself from this person.
I'm so embarrassed by this guy. I don't know what he was talking about.
Oh, yeah, no. That, to me, is disgusting behavior. It makes me sick.
Why would you want someone like that around?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're effectively saying, like, all right, we're done. This relationship is over with. Because, like, if you're going to publicly go out there and be like, I don't agree with anything he said. It was disgusting.
Right.
And I'm with you guys. This guy, I don't know what's going on with this guy.
We're canceling the tour.
Because nowhere in his statement did he say, Kyle and I spoke and we have come to an understanding. No, the whole thing was he said something crazy. I don't rock with that. I don't even know if I can continue making music with this guy.
Everything,
that's fucking crazy.
Everything has been postponed. Everything is now stopped effectively.
Until what? He didn't even say what needed to happen for them to reignite the tour or reignite their friendship or whatever. And some people have speculated that, like, he went to him publicly or privately and was like, listen, you got to fall on this one.
That's the very least I hope happened.
That's all that is, dude, is people going, we like Jack Black too much to face the reality that he kind of probably fucking sucks as a person.
Because he comes off as this jovial, childlike, fun guy who also likes to flip the bird to, you know, the people in power.
Yeah.
And to have his sort of pseudo punk philosophy just crumble in front of your face.
Yeah.
Because of the powers that be say, like, you can't be saying that kind of not even you can't be saying that kind of stuff. You can't be associated.
Yeah.
You can't be friends with. You can't go on tour with a guy that says stuff like that.
Bro,
are you kidding me?
The whole thing, his whole, as far as, like, being a rock star, all of that crumbles.
Oh, yeah, it's gone.
I mean, he has no as far as I'm concerned, there's no credibility left.
No.
How can you sit here with a straight face and try to tell me that you're punk and you're rock and roll when your friend says something crazy and your first thought is, I mean, shit, bro, they're thinking about making a Kung Fu Panda 5. Like, what do you want me to do?
Right.
Like, no, man.
I got too much cooking right now.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, hey, if that's the case, that's fine. But don't also, you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
You can't be Mr. like Tenacious D, this irreverent, no one gives a shit, fun-loving band, and then turn around and be like, yeah, but I also have my constituents to think about. Get the fuck out of here.
For me, unfortunately, as someone who I would consider myself a Jack Black and Tenacious D fan, like, his image is forever tarnished by this experience.
Yeah, it's done for me.
It sucks.
I don't know how you come back from this. As far as I'm concerned, Kyle, it's an era where you got to really think about the shit that you say, especially as a public figure. Probably shouldn't have,
especially with a friend who has such ties with Hollywood.
Right, a guy like Jack Black has way more to lose than Kyle gets.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's really the reality of it is, like, yeah, okay, sure. And you put your boy in a situation where, like, he had to make a hard decision.
But to me, that kind of makes it worse, because it's like Kyle, like, is most well known for Tenacious D.
Yeah.
And to take that away because you'd rather keep your opportunities just comes off as completely selfish, self-interested, and weak.
Yeah.
Like, as a friend.
Right. And also think about the people who are like, I'm never going to support Tenacious D again after you said this.
Were you before?
Exactly. Those motherfuckers weren't coming to your bro, come on. Jack Black has been shilling for the Democratic Party for at least the past 2 presidencies.
Like a month before this happened, he was talking about Biden.
Yeah,
he was.
He's been doing that silly little Jack Black dance that he does
with his big old beard,
doing this shit and all this dumb shit. He's been doing that for fucking years. We're gonna sit here and pretend like this hasn't been going on for forever. Y'all really spent money to go see Tenacious D knowing that Jack Black has been fucking shooking and jiving for the Democrats for years?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. So Jack Black should have seen all those comments and should have looked the other way on that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, going back to a point that you were making before, if he was pressured by studios...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Universal got on the phone.
Right. And that's a thing where Jack Black has to say to himself, like, for the longevity of my career and for all these opportunities that are coming to me, like, is my friendship to this person worth the millions and millions of dollars?
Look, man, I need a new pool.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, hey, listen, that's a question for Jack Black.
Man,
and if we can get him on the show, I'd love to.
I'll tell you what. If this situation was us and you said something, because we all know it would be you saying that.
It would be me. It would be me.
I would tell them they can have Bowser.
That's right.
They can have Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my friend.
That's right. That's right.
I'll find another Bowser, man.
Yeah.
We'll just stick to this Tenacious D thing. Let's just keep rolling with that. We'll get a new HBO show. How
That's
about that?
Right.
There's always going to be
Self-produce a show.
opportunities.
There's always money in the banana stand, man.
Exactly.
That's
Weak.
right.
Weak.
Yeah. Salute to that. Weak sauce, Jack Black.
Mm-hmm. We expected better.
I'll just say, to cap it off, it's not even that he had to do what he had to do. It's the way that he did it.
It is, yeah.
The statement really reads like, fuck that guy.
Super self-interested. Uncaring about what seemed to be one of his closest friends for decades at this point.
Yeah.
Oof.
It was the same thing with Seth Rogen and James Franco. Not the same situation, obviously, but
Sure.
the way that Seth handled it, he was like, I mean, we were work friends. I was like, damn, bro.
I don't know that, man.
Y'all been making movies for years.
Yeah.
You were on a TV show when you were teenagers. You gonna sit here and fucking pretend like y'all was just coworkers after everything y'all been through? That's crazy. I know that James Franco did some fucked up shit, and you gotta come out and be like, nah, I don't rock with that.
Yeah.
For sure. He made the right decision,
Oh, yeah.
but the way he made it, it was like, damn, bro.
Yeesh.
Yeah. I don't believe these guys, man. I don't believe them. I don't believe any of them.
No.
So,
What are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
Well, we have one last thing to talk about.
yeah, let's talk about it.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit in a previous episode when it was announced, and the sort of rumblings of certain people who were unhappy about the fact that we're finally getting an Assassin's Creed in feudal Japan. However, half of that story is going to be about Yasuke, famously the mythical black samurai.
Black Samurai.
And then half of it's going to be about a female ninja.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, great. We're going to play as a black guy and a
Assassin's
woman.
Creed DEI.
Yeah, exactly. So that didn't go away, the people complaining about it.
Yeah.
And so apparently this was enough of an issue that the creators of Assassin's Creed officially put out a statement, specifically to the Japanese community. So I feel like they're kind of ducking the American politics of it, and making it more about like the culture they're representing. And I'm not sure how much of an issue this has been in Japan, because I mean Assassin's Creed is a European brand. And I don't know how big it is in Japan to begin with, but obviously more people are going to be paying attention to it because it's about feudal Japan. I just haven't heard much complaints from the Japanese community. However, they went ahead and posted a statement, which I can read now.
Please.
So this was posted via Twitter on the Assassin's Creed official Twitter. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks for all your support for the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. Over this time, we have explored various settings, time periods, and characters, from an assassin during the Third Crusade to a Viking in 9th century England, and countless more. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long-cherished dream. Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have received many positive reactions, but also some criticism, including from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intention and creative decisions.
Okay.
Overall authenticity efforts. We have put
These are bullet points?
Yeah. All different pages. So 4 pages in total. We're on page 2, just to set the stage for you guys. We have put significant effort into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. Excuse me. That's what you get in One Beer and Podcast.
Yeah.
However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as factual representations of history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical settings we get inspired by. Assassin's Creed Shadows is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, researchers, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. Page 3. Despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promotional materials may have caused concern within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. All game footage presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. Based on the constructive criticism we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. We also want to clarify that while we have been consulting with many people throughout the development process, they are in no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by the creative teams in the interests of gameplay and entertainment. Consequently, we respectfully request that any criticism not be directed at our collaborators, both internal and external.
Okay.
Finally, creative liberties and historical inspirations. While we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naoe, who is equally important in this game, our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts respectfully. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectations is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15th, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into it. Signed, the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team.
Okay.
Yeah.
My initial gut reaction to that is weak sauce.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in them for having to feel like they needed to even come out here and address this shit. But I also feel for them because 20 years ago, they wouldn't have had to do this. I shouldn't. Well, 20 years ago, yeah. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 era, when they were first making these games.
You have a Black Samurai? Are you kidding me? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. People wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have even mattered.
Remember
And-
Afro Samurai?
Exactly. But taking even that out, the liberties that they've taken with history throughout the history of the game franchise,
Oh yeah.
they never had to do this. They
Yeah.
never had to come out and be like, we're sorry if you feel like this misrepresented your history. You know, give us the leeway to make this game. We're also taking into account your constructive criticism,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. It really, in situations like this is what really makes me sad about where we are today.
The state of discourse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That a game company has to come out and be like, guys, listen, like, we hear you, but you give us a chance to make the game first.
Right.
Like, we're really trying here.
Yeah.
I think that I understand the need, or I guess the inclination, to release a statement like that. However, I believe that is I think that was a poor decision to even release that statement, and the statement itself was very weak to me, as far as like, I would have preferred them to just be like, listen,
It is
fucking
what it
eat
is,
eat
y'all.
a dick. Like, we're making this game. We're not out here to please people who are upset that the protagonist is a black guy. Like, we don't care.
Yeah. Well, and that sentiment is echoed in a lot of the responses to that post on Twitter. Is a lot of people saying, like, you didn't need to say this. Like,
No.
we don't need to hear this. Like, we get it. We understand, like, you're making a video game first and foremost. Like, you decided it would be more interesting, instead of having a Japanese shinobi or a Japanese samurai in this world, and instead from a outsider's perspective of an African samurai.
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting character.
It's an interesting thing historically that actually happened in real
Yeah.
life. And also, there's a million ninja games and there's a million samurai games that you can play.
And here's the deal. Even if you absolutely wholeheartedly believe that Yasuke wasn't a samurai, it's still an interesting story.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's a game, man.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary.
Yeah. Well, and also, you know what? I'm actually happy that we're talking about this, because I remember when we talked about this initially.
Right, when it was announced.
Yeah.
The trailer. Yeah.
I feel like I remember us kind of making the point of, like, it is cool, it is interesting, but, you know, hopefully they kind of keep it historically accurate as much as they can. And the Yasuke thing is like, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. I want to push back on myself.
Okay. Yeah.
And just say that at this point, I'm like, I don't give a fuck what
Right.
they do.
Make it cool.
Just make it cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with the other games.
Sure, yeah.
And the more that I think about, honestly, the more I think about that episode, and the more that I think about this whole thing going on, the more that I'm just like, I never thought about how they handled other historical figures. When I played these games, I always thought, it's Assassin's Creed. They're gonna take liberties with historical figures.
It's
That's the whole point,
Historical fiction.
right?
Heavy on the fiction.
So if they make Yasuke the Shogun of Japan,
Right.
that's
Who cares?
part of it.
Yeah.
That's always been part of how they handled historical figures.
Well, and spoiler alert, like, you are in a recreation of history.
Yeah.
You're not actually living that history 9 times out of 10 in an Assassin's Creed
right,
game.
like, yeah,
It's
within
VR.
within the game itself,
In the world.
you're not changing history.
Right. It's VR. It's meant for you to, like, relive something so you get these memories back.
Right.
But, like,
You answer the questions that you need from these characters, from, like, what they lived and everything like that. But, like, it doesn't actually change anything.
right. But after like the main storyline kind of went to the wayside, like with Valhalla, the story is essentially like you're in this virtual world, and sure, there are things happening outside of it, but the majority of it's just in this virtual world that, like, has glitches and has weird things happen within it.
Yeah.
So, like, it, and here's the other thing too, within that statement, there is something that I like about it, which is they chose Yasuke for a reason. So it's like, I feel like within the narrative, there's going to be more unveiled about that character, and they're basically saying in that statement, give us a chance.
Yeah.
Let the game come out, and then make your judgment calls.
Right.
It's just silly to... And I understand why this one got all the criticism beforehand, and the other ones didn't. And it has everything to do with race, obviously. It's not about... It's under the veil of historical accuracy, but...
Well, we know what it is.
It's about race because, you know,
Black.
You didn't have, like...
Women!
in like, you know, they didn't make, like, Leonardo da Vinci black or something, you know? Like, or have a historically black character in Italy at the time.
Yeah.
Even though there surely were black people in Italy at the time.
Right.
So... You know, I think it's very thinly veiled, the criticism against it. Let the game come out. Let it speak for itself. Then you can criticize. But
but the problem is when you acknowledge stuff like that, now, I mean, you've put yourself within the crosshairs. Like, you don't have to... People are going to be taking aim at you. People are going to be saying stuff. They're going to be doing what they do. That's just the internet.
That didn't solve that problem.
Exactly.
And I think it should go without saying that a video game isn't meant to be... documentary.
Yeah.
It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be entertainment.
Yeah.
Until we get to the point where we are having these like recreations of historical events that are meant to be documentary style examinations.
Yeah, and you know what? The conversation surrounding that is a little different because it's like, should you even be playing a game that is so historically accurate? Can you imagine like playing a game where you're like a bystander when JFK gets shot or something like that? Like, why would you... The conversation should be more about, like, should you be even exploiting these real things as opposed to should you be changing history to entertain people in a video game?
Well, I think, that there's so many historical events in which you can make that argument, like a 9/11 simulator or something, you know? Like, even if it's done with the right intentions, it's like, should this be a thing that you can replay over and over again? You know, like, because... And I think the answer will change over time because it's the same conversation you kind of have with movies over time. It's originally because it's meant for entertainment, and then it can morph into kind of whatever you want it to be. But there is something very interesting and very unique about video games, and you know, you get into like VR and stuff like that. The interaction ability of it, which is kind of the main point of a video game, is that like you have power behind the character. That changes the dynamic more than a movie does. Right. You know, because it's not as it is shaped for you. It's directed in a way, but
well, this is like a choose your own adventure movie.
Right. So I think that's an interesting conversation to have down the line, but
we're not there.
We're not there yet, and you know, I think. I agree with you that they didn't need to do this, and it doesn't really help at all.
Yeah.
But
I mean, who is this? I mean, if you're somebody who is like upset that they chose these two people as the protagonists, what in that statement would make you feel better? There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody who was like, this is awesome, now you're reading that statement and you're going like, how much are you going to change about the game because fucking weirdos on Twitter said that you need to... Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Now, the only thing that I take away from that statement is how much are they going to change the game?
Right. How much is the vision going to shift?
Yeah. What was their original vision, and what are they going to do differently now because of online pressure from fucking weirdos?
It's like reverse cancel culture.
Yeah.
You know? I will say, I think they were wise to direct this at the Japanese community.
Yeah.
Because... if it has to do with like respecting the culture, that's something I think we can all get behind, is like making sure it respects the culture of Japan, the history of Japan, feudal Japan in particular. But if it's like Chad from Indiana who's getting mad because he has to play as a black guy in feudal Japan, like they left the door open for, you know, that to be thrown out the window.
Yeah, that's a good point. They were smart about addressing it in a way of like, we're trying to be... But again, they didn't do that for Italian people or French people or the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Like, Why now?
Well, I mean, they may have, but they didn't need to make a statement about it.
No, I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They haven't made a statement to
Yeah.
those groups of people.
Because nobody kicked up a fuss about it, because this has everything to do with race and nothing else.
Right.
It's not about the culture. It's not about respecting Japan.
Right.
And Japan's rich culture and history.
No.
It's about the fact that you have to play as a black guy
Black samurai
and a woman.
and a woman ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, I'll say this. I'm still excited about the game, but I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Kind of makes me a little less excited reading that statement.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
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 Well, that's all we got for our topics.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
We certainly are not done here yet.
No, we are not. We have two things that we have to do before we get out of here.
Absolutely.
First and foremost,
I need you to finish that beer.
why? We got one more?
We sure do, bud. I mean, dude, you don't got to chug it.
It's already done.
Okay.
I already know how I feel about it. I already scored it in my head, so
Good. I'm glad you did. I was going to remind you, but I felt like you didn't need that reminder.
I got it up here. So while Obi is pulling out the next beer, I'll let you guys know it's time for the cheers of the week, and you know what that is.
We'll do these straight out of the can. That feels right.
Yeah? Why? What were you thinking?
Pouring them in the glass as well, but
Oh,
I feel like
right.
I feel like a stout would taint the flavor profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, two things that Obi's going to do right now, which is tell you about this next beer and then give his cheers of the week.
Indeed. So this beer is our final of the trilogy of Grimm beers that we have, and this is the one I saved for last because, boy howdy, it's a strong one.
Whoa.
It is the 6th anniversary Triple India Pale Ale. Comes in at a 10% ABV.
Fuck.
Citra, Nelson, Mosaic, Simcoe, Strata, and Rakow. I've never heard of Rakow. But, yeah. Keep cold. Drink now.
And that's what we'll do.
So we should. My cheers of the week, I'm going to go for a twofer because it's been so long. I feel like we need to do more. I mean, you don't need to, but I'm giving two different cheers of the weeks.
Okay.
My first one,
I had two ideas too. So
okay,
that's-
good. Perfect. My first one goes to New York City.
New York City. New York City.
New
You're
York
the
City.
most devious bastard in New York City.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was a little rough on New York last time. A little critical. You know, I came back from that last trip, you know, a little world weary, you could say. A little unimpressed. But, you know, this trip kind of reinvigorated my feeling of magic in the city. I felt like I kind of got it again, all over. I fell in love with it all over again.
That's beautiful.
Just because it really is a place where, like, you can find anything around every corner.
Yeah.
Good or bad or ugly.
Yeah.
It's all there, baby. You know, and it's just incredible. And, you know, we didn't do it, but like the fact that we could have seen like CL Smooth.
You could?
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, yeah. That's
Or no,
right.
Pete
That's
Rock,
right.
Pete
Yeah.
Rock. Pete Rock was out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably promoting the Common album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Vince Staples was out there, I think. You know, just crazy. And then Common and Pete Rock performed the day after we left.
Yeah.
In a park, just in a park.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
We saw, you know, Joey Saishi. You know, it's just incredible.
It's
like
just alive.
the magnetism the city has.
Yeah.
is incredible. And I love my girlfriend Sherry.
And what's your other cheers?
What do you want from me? Sherry was looking at me with eyes. I didn't know what she wanted. My other cheers of the week goes to modern RPGs.
Oh. Okay.
Clink.
The ones you play.
Yeah. So, yes, that the what I mean by modern RPGs is because I had recently finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and literally the day before we were leaving to New York, I finally got my physical copy of Baldur's Gate 3 for PS5.
Oh, wow.
It took that long for them to release it on physical because Larian Studios is like an independent studio, and they made this gigantic game. And I have it. I can show it to you. But
Show it to you.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a magical game. As a nerd who grew up with the original Final Fantasy VII, like, Remake was already a dream come true, and now Rebirth is like all that plus more into a place where there's almost like there literally is too much.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like detrimental to the game itself. They packed it with so much stuff. It feels like an impossible game.
Yeah.
Like it's such a fun world to live in, to play in, and the changes they're doing in the story and the expansions they've done of this world are like, I mean, it is one of the front runners for Game of the Year for me this year. Easy.
I mean, I have been waiting for a reason to get the game. I was going to play it with Brad, but then they were like, it's not cross-platform yet, so...
Final Fantasy?
No, I'm sorry. Baldur's Gate. Not Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
You
hopped over.
Yeah. But you did let me borrow Rebirth, so I gotta get into that.
Yeah. Watch a playthrough of Remake.
I did. I already did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
So I'm caught up as far as like the story and
well, then get in,
is.
man, because
Yeah,
it's.
yeah.
I mean, the combat is, I think, perfect. They perfect what they had cooking with Remake into a place where every single character plays like you're playing a different game.
Yeah.
In a way.
I'll say that I played Remake, and I had two beefs with Remake. Number one was like having to do all those mini games and side quests that I didn't. I don't know how Square didn't like look at the other games in the genre and go like, all right, let's make the side quests optional or end game stuff where you can come back and knock out all that, because that's usually how these games go. Big, expansive RPGs. Sure. You can do the main story, and yes, it may be harder if you don't knock out all of the side quests first, but you can still get through it and then come back later. With Final Fantasy Remake, they were like, you're going to do this.
I will say they have not learned their lesson.
Okay.
But all that being said, the quality of minigames has gotten better overall.
Yeah.
There are a couple of them that are still optional. You don't have to play through them. That suck.
Yeah.
They're not good.
I just don't understand why they're like, I guess the devs are like, we spent time on this. We want you to play these games. And I get it, but I just really, really have no interest in people have talked about this before, but like when you make a video game and you have something super urgent happening in the real story.
Sure. And then you're like off like finding trinkets.
That sometimes like it really does kind of take me like if there's game like GTA, for instance, is a game where you're living the day-to-day of these characters and they get into these adventures because they get into these situations like naturally.
It's more of a day-in-the-life simulator.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're a terrorist organization that just destroyed a reactor and now you've got God knows who coming after you, these organizations, these shadow organizations, plus
a demon is following you.
All kinds of hell that's coming after you.
A demon with a giant sword.
Maybe
a one-winged angel.
Maybe you should be focusing on that and not playing darts. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe there's more important things going on.
I will say there is sort of like similar issues with Rebirth, but for me at least, the majority of it was such a rich world to live in that it incentivized me more to like do more of those side quests.
Yeah.
Not all these mini games and stuff, but the side quests I did I think basically all of them that mattered.
Yeah.
Because all of them have like rich character expositions. You find new people and you know it just builds the world in a way that as a original Final Fantasy VII fan, seeing these places that used to be literally just like JPEGs, expanded into these entire like open world scenarios. And like, it's a magical thing. And the card game in it, I love.
All right.
Queen's Blood, incredible. I got addicted to it. I played every single person I could. Every single person. And I beat that entire side quest. So fun.
All right.
But yeah, incredible. Moving on to Baldur's Gate. It's the same thing, but different. So this is much more of like a Western RPG style. And it fixes what I didn't like about like Witcher 3, which was the combat of Witcher 3. I love the interactions of people and like really role playing in Witcher 3, but
you just needed it to be turn-based
I
for some
hated
reason?
the combat. The combat was terrible. It always got in the way. But because it didn't feel good. Like if it was more of like an action oriented, or if it was fully turn based, I'd be like, all right, I'm in. But because it was this like weird, like archaic mix of the two, I was like, I don't really understand what's going on here. It doesn't feel good. What Baldur's Gate does is completely eschews the need of like action combat and lets you walk around in the open world way that you would in like like in Witcher. I mean, any other modern RPG, you walk around this open world, you can talk to people, you have dialogue options. Depending on your dialogue options, you have more options on your dialogue tree. You know, if you're more persuasive, you're more deceptive, et cetera, based on your character build. But when it comes to combat, it goes turn-based, and it becomes literally a Dungeons and Dragons game. So you see a die pop up, and depending on your character build, you have to roll a certain amount to succeed in your roll. And that's how combat goes.
Yeah.
So, like, it is... I at first was kind of like, oh, this might be boring and suck, but no, it's fun and it's really thrilling because like you're rolling the dice every time and you're like, oh, like what am I going to get this time? It's all up to chance because even if it says like you only need to roll a 1 to get this thing done, there's a chance that you won't, or a 2, I should say, you won't roll a 2. You know, there's a chance you'll roll a 1, and if you do that, you know, I'm trying to play in a way that's authentic. So I'm like, if I do that, I'm not going to reload and be like, you know, let's go back.
Yeah.
I want to play through this like I'm playing a real D&D campaign. So it's been a lot of fun to be like, come on, let me get it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's such a rich...
Sorry.
I tried to grab her and she didn't like it.
Oh.
Tried to pick her up and she wasn't
She's
having
okay.
it.
She's okay.
She was like, get off.
Oh, you gotta be gentle.
I know, I'm sorry.
She's a little baby.
I just wanted to pick her up.
She's
and
a
she
baby
wasn't
girl.
having it.
No, you gotta be like gentle.
Yeah, I couldn't get under. I was like...
Did you pinch her?
I tried to. Yeah, I think I got.
She has arthritis in her.
I think I gripped her a little too.
She has osteoarthritis.
Yeah. Sorry, sweetie.
She's okay. She just hates you now.
Yeah, well,
more.
now.
More. She hates you more now. All to say, Baldur's Gate 3 is a masterclass of modern RPG
Yeah.
gameplay. It's onboarding me to actually get into D&D, which I really like because like all of it is applicable to real D&D.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm earning some more nerd creds here, and it's a lot of fun. It's very deep. All the like there's so many characters that you can add to your team that are essentially NPCs that you just come across and you're like, hey, come with me, and they're like, all right, cool.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. I'm a half elf, half human, and
Naturally.
Yeah, I'm also a rogue, so I'm a bit of a trickster. I like deceiving people. I have those powers.
All right.
I like the short swords.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
All right.
Yeah. Check it out.
Okay. I mean, I've been wanting to for a long time, so definitely gonna. Okay, my cheers of the week. I guess my double cheers of the week. Number one is going to the massive amounts of music that's come out in the past couple of weeks. A lot of good albums. You've got your chart toppers like Brat.
Yeah. Did you listen to it?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I will. I mean, guys, let's be for real here, okay? Let's act like we know me.
360.
Okay, I'm sorry. Common put out an album. Action Bronson put out an album. Sturgill Simpson put out an album.
Yeah.
Childish Gambino put out an album that I don't really like at all.
Oh no!
So there's like a lot of. I mean, it's been a pretty good. Like, what are we in the third quarter, second quarter? What month are we in?
I think we're edging into the third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a good quarter for music so far, except for that Childish Gambino album. That shit sucks. But have you listened to it yet?
Half of it.
It's okay.
We're in the third. No, we're in the third quarter.
Yeah. Well, it's July.
Yeah.
Going into August, so
January, February, March, April, May, June, July.
August,
April.
September.
No, July, August, September.
That's
October,
what I said.
November, December. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to the entire thing yet.
It's all right.
What don't you like about it?
I mean, what I've never liked about Childish Gambino, which is that, like,
His rapping?
lyrically, yeah, he's just not a very good rapper, and I'm tired of people pretending like he is. He
Well,
never has been, and he never will be.
To me, the first half was much more like sing-songy.
There's a lot of
Which
There's
I
a lot
appreciated.
of singing. There's some stuff that's like really like borderline emo stuff.
Oh yeah, there's like a rock song. His
the
single,
big single, yeah. Lithonia.
Lithonia. That's right.
Excuse me. That's a fun song. I
Yeah.
fucks with that.
Yeah.
There's some rapping on there that I'm just like, the problem that I have with Childish Gambino, and the problem that I've always had with him, is that his lines just don't land. The way that he delivers his lines, sometimes even when they're good lines, the way that he delivers them is
Yeah.
like he's the most clever person on the planet, and he's saying something like, "Oh yeah, black guy in short shorts who listens to Sufjan Stevens." It's like, "Oh man, you're the only human being on the planet who could ever have done that."
Maybe a chip on your shoulder.
Maybe a little bit.
No, it. I think actually watching his Hot Ones interview.
Yeah,
kind of shed a little bit of a light on that for me. I don't know if you saw it.
I did. I watched it.
So him talking about sort of the diametrically opposed cultures of comedians and hip hop
Yeah,
kind of opened it up in a way where, because he said, like, that's a really good question, because how can you be, both braggadocious and also self-effacing in a way?
yeah.
And he essentially says that's really hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's true, and I think that's reflective of what you don't. And I agree with you. Surprise to no one. That a lot of times when he's doing that, it fails because I don't think he knows how to handle that right in a way that works.
So here's
That's relatable or real.
And here's my response to that. The reason that it doesn't work is because I believe that Donald Glover is too concerned, even though he may not ever admit this, when it comes to his music, he is too concerned with the idea of trying to balance those things, right? And never losing face in either way, right? Sure. He's going to make a self-deprecating joke, and then the next line is going to be, but I also get pussy too.
Right. I was going to say, I also fuck bitches.
Yeah. So if you're not able to give yourself to either one of those things, you're going to fail at both.
Sure.
And that's what happens with his music.
Yeah.
Sure. Being funny and also being this braggadocious person, that's a hard thing to balance. Ask Redman about that. Ask Method Man about that.
Sure, yeah.
Ask Cool G Rap about that. Yeah. Ask anybody who is actually able to balance those things. Ask Sean Price, rest in peace, about how to be funny, self-referential, and self-deprecating, and also hilarious. Ask MF Doom about that, rest in peace. Yeah. It's not impossible. So don't make it... He makes it seem like he's doing this tightrope act. And it's like, no, you just weren't good enough at either one of those things.
And you say that, and again, in that interview, as much as I enjoyed the interview, he definitely comes off as feeling like he's an innovator.
Yeah,
In a
that's
way that
another
he's
problem
really-
that I've
really
always
not.
had with him is
Yeah.
that he makes it seem like he's walking on water or he's treading ground
He's
that
a
no one else
trailblazer.
has.
Yeah,
And he isn't. He isn't. Even when he was coming out, he was already too late to the quote unquote preppy black guy party. There was already guys doing that shit that he was. It'd be one thing if he was like, yo, I'm in there with Cudi and Kanye and the Nux and all these. There were like guys. There was a whole group of dudes that were doing that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you wanted
Entire
to
subgenre.
yeah. But to turn around and be like, I'm the only one.
Yeah. I'm weird. Look at me.
Yeah,
I'm weird.
look at me. I'm weird. I also have a weird thing for Asians too. I don't know what that's about, but we're never gonna explore.
No,
that.
that's Weezer.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to turn this Cheers into a fuck Childish Gambino.
Where'd this come from?
Sturgill Simpson's new album is awesome.
Yeah.
Common's new album
Under a new
with
name though. What's the new name?
Johnny Blue Skies.
Johnny Blue
Skies.
yeah.
Great album. Great album. One
Great
of the
album.
best
Some
of the
say the
year.
best.
It's a great. Common's album with Pete Rock, The
Yeah.
Auditorium Volume 1, I think is amazing. It's awesome to hear these two legends energized by the idea of like working with each other, I guess.
Yeah.
And Action Bronson's album. You texted me about it, and I didn't follow up because
Yeah,
I
and
wanted
you
to
gave
talk.
me nothing.
I wanted to talk to you about it in person because you like. It is.
I was 3 airplane whiskeys deep.
Yeah.
And you know what you gave me?
nothing.
Nothing. You gave me a red.
I gave you nothing.
You gave me a red.
I gave him nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was partly me being like,
times.
I
Hard
wasn't.
times.
I didn't know where I was mentally at that point, but also I like wanted to talk to you about it in person.
Yeah.
It really is like a weird, hard to pin down version of Action Bronson.
It's like a
He's-
fever dream. It's
Yeah,
strange.
he's doing something on this album that's like, okay, man, because like I've had problems with some of his stuff in the past because it feels like he's gotten kind of lazy.
Well, his more recent stuff, I'll say, has been kind of by the numbers.
Yeah.
And exactly what you'd expect from him, which is a bad thing. Like,
Yeah.
I liked Action Bronson, especially back in the day when it was like fresh and new. And like he had a new perspective on stuff. And the braggadocious stuff on like a new level.
Yeah.
And it seems like in his later days now, he's kind of settled down, which is fine. But what I like about this new album is it sounds like he's found a new thing that allows him to excel without having to be, an excellent, fast wordsmith.
Yeah.
And if he's going to be have it like a slower cadence to his hip hop, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Like to make it more weird, to make it more ethereal, to find more, he has the cream of the crop when it comes to like finding producers and samples and beats to rap over. Like the world's his oyster. As far as I'm concerned. So I am. This is very promising to me.
Yeah.
I hope to hear more of this, like, absolutely out there, and more like what's the word? Not experimental, but like having a theme around the album.
Yeah.
It is, I think, right up his alley.
Yeah.
Because he's very theatrical, and I think he can do something with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But this is your cheers. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, perfectly stated. I mean, it's funny. I feel exactly the same way. Surprising to no one. When he first came out, the big thing was he sounded like Ghostface Killah, but he rapped like Cool G rap. Like he had these multi-syllable internal rhymes. They were like, oh, this guy's like rapping his ass off.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like when things were really popping off for him with the show and with the merchandise and with like all these opportunities he was getting. It felt like he was getting lazy.
Yeah.
So in these last couple albums, Only for Dolphins, Cocodrilo, Turbo, and now Johann Sebastian Baklava.
Johann Sebastian Baklava.
It feels like he's getting to this weird place of like the subject matter has become almost too meta.
Yeah.
Right? Sports references, wrestling references,
Wrestling,
food
yeah.
references. How deep can we make these meta things about? And but the soundscapes, they're just, it's so weird. Like Cocodrilo Turbo is it's almost a challenging listen. When you go back and listen to that album, like there's almost nothing to really like hang your hat on. You need that like swing of boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom. And there's some of those songs, like there is nothing to really latch onto.
There's a lot of sway to it.
Yeah, it's a weird, hard listen in some instances.
Very
it's
European.
kind of challenging. Yeah. And for a rapper to do that, I don't know, man. I think people are kind of sleeping on the idea of a guy who makes a weird sports reference that you might not, you probably have to Google over an instrumental from a sample that you may have never heard of in your whole like it
Soviet jazz.
He's doing it, and I think that because of who he is, what he looks like, and what he does, people may sleep on it and go like, it's just Action Bronson doing what he does. But I think it's like more interesting than people are giving it credit for.
I think he is. I think he's evolving.
Yeah,
and I'm happy to see that, because that's what I was afraid of once he did start to, it seemed like, get a bit lazy with the hip hop. Is that it seemed like he couldn't do those like triplet flows anymore, and
I do feel like that still is a thing. I don't think he wants to.
I agree, but the fact that he's now shifted to doing this weird, more experimental, it's slower, but it has more to kind of chew on. I like that for him.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to shift. And I think listeners who may have fell in love with his sound in the early times need to shift their expectations for what's coming next, because it seems to be, this has been, for like you said, the past couple of albums, what he's been kind of edging into is this different sound.
Yeah.
A bit more laid back, fewer tracks, more room to kind of breathe and set a tone, more I don't know, there's just more of like a theatrical feel to it. You get more of a sense of a place and time that he's trying to share, which is nice. I like that. I like that. I think it's a good place for him to evolve into as he gets older, and maybe his skills change and his ideals kind of shift.
Yeah. All right. I'm not gonna go into my second one because it's just kind of silly.
No, go ahead, please.
I mean, I don't want to take up too much time.
Just say it.
I recently rewatched. The 1994 classic Street Fighter.
Okay, yeah. Raul Julia.
And I did want to just give it up to everybody involved in that movie, because it's bonkers Looney Tunes movie. It's almost like watching a cartoon. Everything about it is, I mean, Raul Julia gives a Shakespearean
He's so good.
performance in it.
That performance in Addams Family make me so sad that we didn't get more from him.
Absolutely. He's a thespian.
Yeah.
He's
so
an
good.
actor's actor.
So good.
And everyone else who's involved, it just feels like they were told, like, we're making a movie about a video game. You know what I mean? Like, I never really thought about this until most recently, and like being adult and watching it. Like, there is a point where about 3/4 into the movie, everyone has basically just cosplayed their character.
Yeah.
E Honda, Balrog.
He rips his shirt off.
He's wearing the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
His scars. He I guess he gets into a fight. Not I guess I watched it. He gets into a fight with Zangief, and he's got these cuts on his face.
Zangief is the best in that movie.
He's the best. He's
so
the best.
good.
He looks just like his character. He acts just like you would think his
funny.
character. And for some reason, and again, this goes to my point about how for some reason they all start cosplaying as their characters. He's wearing a full Shadaloo M. Bison uniform, right?
Yeah.
At some point, he decides he's not going to be a stooge for M. Bison, right?
Right.
The next scene, he's just dressed as Zangief.
Yeah.
He's got the shorts on,
Yep.
the boots, no shirt. There is no explanation as to why he's dressed the way that he is.
It's because that's how he's supposed to look.
And it's the same thing with Balrog, who is supposed to be the Mike Tyson wannabe, the black guy in the movie who's a boxer.
Who is really supposed to be M. Bison.
M. Bison.
Right.
Mike Bison.
Right.
At some point, after there's a scene where they're getting tortured for information, they never really go anywhere with that scene. At some point, he finds boxing gloves, and he's wearing shorts and a shirt that match. Somehow, there's no explanation as to how he found purple shorts and a purple shirt and a white undershirt, and he's just dressed as his character.
Yeah.
Ken and Ryu, he's called Ryu in the movie, but it's Ryu. They are put in gis for some reason that M. Bison has all of his warriors in these training gis.
Yeah.
I don't know why he put Ken in the red one and Ryu in the white one, but they rip the
They sure do.
You know, they have that
sleeves
iconic
off.
moment where they go and they rip it off. They rip the badge off, the M. Bison badge off, and now they're wearing gis.
Yeah.
Cammy, she's in full tactical gear.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, she's wearing her like iconic like blue
One Piece
onesie thing.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so silly.
Chun-Li, same thing.
Chun-Li is she is a reporter.
She's suddenly
warrior
in Chinese outfit because
he wanted to fuck her. That's it.
Yeah, because
and
Bison
he just wanted to fuck her, and that's it.
Want
So
her in that
from
outfit.
that point forward, she's got the hair. She's wearing the
buns.
dress. Yeah, everything. There's a whole. I kind of want to do a one reel in on this.
I have it in 4K. That's all I'm saying.
Should we do one reel in on this? Should I
would
should I just shut up and then we'll come back to
we'll come back
to the table on this.
It's a movie that I think on face value sucks, but is so good.
So good. So good. Yeah. All right. So I'll just stand it right there because I have more points to make.
We'll table it.
Yeah. Excuse me. All right. One last thing we got to do before we get out of here, and that is review these brewskis. So, Obi brought back a smorgasbord of Grimm Brewing beers.
Trifecta.
We're going to run down the line. First things first, the $2 pistol.
Pitstol.
The $2 pistol.
You're
Excuse
okay.
me. A smoked.
Cry.
I'm going to cry about it. A smoked red Rausch beer lager. What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. A little too malty for my taste, personally. But I think as far as Rausch beers go, pretty dang good. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay. A 4.5. I think I'm going to agree with that. My criticism would be I kind of would want it to be smokier. I would want a little bit more smokier on a Rausch beer. I know it's you said it was their first one and they were really proud of it, and they should be.
Yeah.
It's a great Rausch beer, but I would say on the next go around, don't worry about trying to hit every audience.
Yeah.
A Rausch beer is for Rausch beer lovers.
Sure.
Make a smoky beer.
Yeah.
Make it smoky. Just make it smoky.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Number 2, the single negative stout.
I really like this beer a lot. I am going to give this one a 5.5. It's a really good stout, and it is a stouty stout. There's nothing, like I mentioned in the intro, there's no gimmicks about it. It's just a really good stout.
It's just a stout.
And that's all it needs to be. It's a 5.5 for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm going unanimous too. 5.5. I think is a fantastic beer.
Yeah.
I think a great, not that great,
Not you.
great stout.
Great stout. Yeah.
Malty, dark, sweet.
Yeah.
It's great.
From a brewery that's more known for their IPAs, I think it's really impressive what they do with that one.
And speaking of their IPAs, the 6th anniversary triple IPA. What'd you think?
For me, it's a 5. I think this is a fantastic triple IPA, and I think what speaks most for it is the fact that it doesn't even taste like a triple IPA. It goes down like a single IPA, which is scary.
Yeah.
But I think this is a definitely worth their anniversary plug. Happy 6th anniversary. I give it a 5.
I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to stick with 4. Now, I was thinking about 4.5. I was teetering.
Okay.
4.25.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. It's just hoppy to me right now.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel like
The flavors are gone.
it's starting to get a little muddled.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair.
There might not be any anything, a criticism of the beer itself. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and in the mid-afternoon have another 6th anniversary triple IPA. But as it stands,
Yeah.
with everything that's going on right now, I'm gonna give it a 4. I think it's good.
It's fair.
But this stout right here, man, that's something else.
Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I agree with you there.
All right. So, a 4.5,
Unanimous.
a 5.5,
Unanimous.
and then a 5 for you.
Yep.
4 for me
Uh-huh.
for the triple IPA 6th anniversary.
Indeed.
You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Whew, buddy. Well, let's get out of here.
Please.
This has been the One Beer In podcast from myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. We're happy to be back. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you. Boy, I need some dinner.